Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to A Good Things Marriage Chats. I'm Tiara.
And I am Adrian. I hope you can hear me good, because if not,
We can hear you. We can hear
yeah, no, no,
you.
welcome back to Marriage Chats, y'all. We love y'all. We
Yeah.
appreciate y'all for tuning in again on this lovely Tuesday morning. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Oh, y'all, sorry. Don't forget to like, comment, and hit them buttons. Before we jump into the stuffs, you see that we have a special guest.
We do.
She's beautiful. She's amazing. She has a story. She is full of love. She is educated. She is a strong, black, independent woman. Okay. She's a mama. She's a sister. She's a daughter. She's a friend.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Welcome, Miss Shyla Mayes, y'all.
That was so beautiful. Oh,
Thank you.
sounded
Thank
real
you.
good, didn't I?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you all for having me. I'm
Yes.
excited to share this space with y'all. Y'all need to
Yes.
like my sister's real life, so we just
Mhm.
we just gonna be in the living room. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Uh-huh. With,
Mhm.
with makeup on, but I don't have on makeup, and I'm about to go get my hair done after this. So mind your business. So we have Shyla on today. Listen, Shyla on today because she, I believe, has a story that is going to bring forth healing and all the things. So I'm just gonna shut my big old fat mouth and let you get on into it. I'm shutting.
Silly. Well, we're going to discuss with her today why vulnerability in marriage is important. And, I just think it's important to discuss because in the beginning, I think when we're all caught up in the sunshine and the rainbows and just the love and infatuation and still learning each other, um, you can start to learn somebody and you can let somebody in a little bit. But we don't always see the depth and the necessity to be vulnerable, meaning allowing that spouse to get into spaces where you don't want to be seen, allowing them into the areas of life that maybe you've been ashamed of, um, and the past hurts that you just want to forget. You don't even want to talk about it. But so we're going to deep dive into that today. So I would ask you first, Shyla, why, or I'll say this, when you hear the word vulnerability when it comes to marriage, what's your first thoughts?
So my first thought when I hear vulnerability is exposure,
Mm-hmm.
but also discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
Exposure limits boundaries, barriers, fears, pressures, all the things. It is literally presenting yourself as naked. And I think ultimately it stimulates a fear because there are spaces where all of us are hidden in some capacity, whether we want to or not, because we are all still unveiling surfaces. I think healing has levels, and so there is a conscious level, there's a subconscious level, there's an unconscious level, and so while you may not necessarily know what's hidden, you can always feel it. And so when the word vulnerability or nakedness comes, it's like, whoa, this means that I have to show up fully, hiding nothing. And if I haven't processed all of what that looks like in regards to freedom, am I really ready to be open like that in any space?
Mm-hmm.
So I think to just answer that question, y'all, I can be a little long, so I'm like, let me make sure I just answer the question. I think that's also what comes to mind, just making sure that also am aware of what I feel to know if there's something I need to address. Because in marriage, there is no hiding.
Yeah.
I was married, y'all, for I think 6 years. I've been divorced for 3. So, it's all relationships, though. If you want them to be successful in any way, requires vulnerability.
Yeah. So, and I think that's important to talk about the aspect when it comes to healing and the peeling of the onion, as I always say, that has to come back for yourself to even realize what's there.
Yeah.
But if we talk about the portion of what you do know is there and you're just not sharing, why do you think people don't want to share with this person that they've now committed their life to, that they've joined to, that they've said that they're in love? Like, why do you think that's so hard?
Yeah, so first I want to answer that question backwards. So not sharing doesn't mean that you don't love. And so I want us to be careful with assessing an outcome before we have understanding, because we do that a lot. And then people miss the opportunity to understand their person because they're projecting or they're casting that because you don't share, you don't love me, you don't care, I'm not as close to you as I thought. That's not it. It has nothing. Most times how they respond in marriage has nothing to do with the person they're married to. It has everything to do with the foundation that built your response. But to then go forward, I think a lot of it has to do with fear. You know, when you were in spaces before where you became vulnerable, what was the person's response to your vulnerability? If it was not having time for you, you're not going to share because you don't think people care. If it's people rejecting you, you're not going to share because why put myself back in that same situation to be hurt again? Maybe these are just things that you will not to talk about. And so in your mind, you don't talk about these things. I hear sometimes we talk about like conversations around sex. Well, we talked about the birds and the bees. What is that? Why are we talking about birds and bees? Hello. It's not birds and bees. We're talking about vaginas, penises. I mean, I'm very transparent, okay? Because life is real. So we're talking about actual things. And if we cover them with these over terms that makes us uncomfortable with approaching the real thing, we'll never be able to show up and talk about the real things. And that's what vulnerability is. It's facing things for what they are, giving them the context of what they are so that you can have the courage to talk through things that you may have fear about or lack of understanding. But I think ultimately it comes from foundational wounds. How was it addressed before? Multiple different ways, all ultimately the same thing: fears, discomforts, ignorance, etc.
So I guess one thing I'll comment to that, while it may not necessarily be that person, I had that thought about what you mentioned, saying how maybe that person has responded before. Where they allowed them to feel safe, right? And another aspect to that as well is while it may not necessarily be quote unquote that person, at the same time, we know that a lot of times we pick our spouse based off of our daddy, right? Or things that we might have seen in our daddy, not even intentionally, right? And it doesn't have to be where everything is similar, but there's going to be certain things that's like them. And so because of that, there's also a part where maybe I am kind of seeing unsubconsciously how my dad was. And so because of what I'm seeing subconsciously that is the same, then I could also be projecting or not sharing because of that same energy I had with them. So I automatically don't feel completely safe, even though I might not even realize it yet. And that goes even deeper, like from a spiritual level. So yeah, I mean, it could be a few things. That's definitely not like a black or white set type of thing. But I definitely agree with you about, not just looking at that person like, it's you. It's, it's because of you. And looking at them like a negative standpoint and then really inviting them to look deeper into why they may not feel comfortable with certain things. And have they really even give them an opportunity?
I think too, really good point. I think though, I want to take it, and I know this is marriage chat space. I want to take it a step further because sometimes we think that it's only the way that we respond to our spouses because those are the people that are closest to us. But your wound is not it's not people specific, it's person specific. So it's not this person that I am giving this thing to, it's all people. So whatever that foundational person represents, you will give that to every person that is a representation of who wounded you from the very origin. And so sometimes in marriage, we take that person, like, you don't trust me. You got daddy issues. No, you have men issues. Yeah. And so if you look at your friendships, it's probably the same. If you look at anything with a male, it's probably the same. And so maybe you don't regard it the same way because that's your quote unquote husband or your wife, right? Yeah. But if you step outside of that space and you look at how you regard those people, you regard everybody with your hands, but not your heart. That means you have ultimately a heart issue, and you've placed it in a group of people that represents a person. So I think, and when it comes to working through how to work together, you really have to become aware of yourself. That's key. Why am I afraid? Why don't I trust you? Is it really you I don't trust? Or did something begin me not trusting men in general, which helps me to take the seat back and say, wait a minute, there's something I have to find in myself that makes me not be able to regard you as safe. And then go to your spouse in vulnerability and say, hey, I've done some work, and I'm becoming self-aware, and I understand that there's a wound I need to heal. So I'm asking you to give me the grace to heal in this space. But I also want to apologize to you for making you feel as if this was your fault, because it's not. But until you become self-aware, you will blame your spouse for something your parent did. So you ain't safe. And it's not that he isn't safe. It's that you made him unsafe, because that's your view altogether. So if we really in marriage take a step back to be self-aware, we could deal with things in a better way when it comes to being able to be exposed, because that's really a blessing. To be able to be fully naked, fully exposed, that's a blessing. To be behind the veil of someone's growing through becoming free where you've been bound, that's a blessing. It's a blessing to walk with them through that process, to watch them overcome, to know how to hold and carry them in spaces where they first were not able to show up and be free. That is a blessing. That is to becoming one. Yeah.
Did you want to ask? I just want to say, I am just like in a space of just honor. Y'all, I'm about to cry. I'm about to cry.
Oh, she coming for me. I feel it.
Yeah. I am honored that
she ain't doing this to me, girl.
Yes, I am. I am just honored to just listening to you speak. Like I'm doing this, I feel like my head about to fall off my shoulders. But I am just like honored to just hear your just growth, and you being able to just, see and teach us like these things. Like I'm so just, I don't know, I'm just in the space. I just wanted to just say that I'm glad that you brought up I'm glad that you brought up that when you are more self-aware and you self-reflect, that you can like start learning and seeing that whatever issue that you may have is not just the one part. Like finger claps, finger claps, finger claps. But I'm just honored. Like I'm just like in big sister mode. Like look at this little old girl. Look at this little old girl teaching, and I love it. And I'm sorry to break from getting off, but I'm just so just proud of you and your growth, and just, the wisdom that God has just like put into you to be able to teach us, like, and our listeners, our viewers. Like I'm just, girl, keep on, keep on. Let me go back to mute and clear my face. I love it. I just want to say that. Okay. Okay. Back to schedule program.
But this is your words are the example of the veil, right? And so I just mentioned how you have those people in all relationships who grow with you through, and how it becomes an honor. That's what you just spoke to. Because the people don't know, what has this been? I mean, this is my sister best friend, and we've been doing life since it's been over 20 years. So I'm talking about seasons.
Yeah,
Amen.
I don't even think you were 10 yet.
Yeah. No, really. No,
Yeah,
really.
I don't think you were 10 yet. So, seeing little Shyla that had the hard finger snap, like, because Shyla could pop them fingers, girl. But, seeing you be the little girl that, was experiencing just life, and maybe not so easy, but you were experiencing things at that age. And of course, I didn't know, I'm just over your house. I'm just mooching off the sweet potatoes. But but to see that, and then just watch how you've grown to where you are now and how you're continuing to grow. It just, I don't know. I'm gonna keep on saying I'm proud of you, and yeah, you're teaching me. You're teaching me. So again. Uh.
So I wanted to go. I'm gonna say one thing before we go to the next part, but I did want to kind of speak to something else you made me think about. Sometimes our spouses get the brunt. When we talk about the point that you made about how you're projecting and looking at all of these other males, females, and that's so true. But to add to that, it's like the spouse gets it the worst.
Of course.
Because that's who you're looking at every day, talking to every day. When you come home, when you're mad, when you're letting loose, when you're frustrated, like you don't have all these other people. So it's so important to what you said about being self-aware and making sure that you're speaking with them, recognizing where you are, and recognizing when you need to apologize for the projecting, for the whatever that you're doing with them, how you mistreat them, how you overreacting, how you being negative, like all
how
those.
you're speaking to them, like
Even in silence. I think though, the thing that I capture from what you said though is covenant means capacity. And so when you signed up in the words of I do, you told the Lord that you would remain steadfast with built-in capacity for whatever I bring. That's what you said. Yeah. And so no matter what comes, you said, I do. You said, I have capacity. So that's capacity even for my ignorance.
Yeah.
This is things I'm not aware of. And so this is why we have to store up prayer for our spouse before you say I do. Because you storing up prayer is, Lord, cover him for the ways in which I'm going to mistreat him. Give him the strength to see me how you see me. These are things that you are proactively seeding so that when things come, because we don't always get things the first time. Right. And we can mistreat over and over unconsciously, subconsciously, etc. So we're actually causing them pain at the same time we're loving them. That's why you have to have capacity and self-awareness. Say, you know what? I was wrong for that. And it could be a continuation, a pattern of years of something. I'm sorry, but I'm also thankful. I'm grateful that you continue to remain steadfast with the capacity for whatever I bring until I evolve. It's an evolving together. So being mindful of the whole picture, signing up to say, that's just the way I am. Well, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So I need you to work through the way I am to find out who told you that's a norm. Be self-aware, and then come back and get me. Come back and tell me. Come back and love me. Come back and help to repair. Because then maybe there's something that's exposed in your spouse once you see yourself. Because y'all helping each other heal. Y'all helping each other become vulnerable. It's not just one-sided. So when one evolves, it's the same thing in scripture. When you are delivered, when you are healed, go back and get your brother. That ain't just your sisters and brothers in Christ. That's your spouse. That's right. When you get it, they should be your first. Go back, understand they in your house. So of course they're gonna get all of it because they signed up to do life with you behind that veil. But it should never be that everything is for people outside of your house and not inside your house.
That's right. Yeah. So what do you look at as, or how vulnerability actually empowers and strengthens the intimacy level between the husband and wife?
So vulnerability helps me to see me so that you can see me. Because if I don't see me, you can't see me, because I'm giving you something that's not real. I'm giving you something that's not true. I'm giving you confusion. When I see myself, vulnerability is self-reflective first. When I become more aware of me, you know how to see and identify with the real version of who I am. So now we go deeper in truth. We're not pretending. There are no illusions. We're not fighting with characters. We're not pretending to be anything we're not. We're then able to grow together in love, which is what the scripture tells us, because we have cast off everything that is pretend. Intimacy, I know we always think about it in the form of sex, and it's a byproduct of intimacy. Right. But intimacy is just the ability for you to see into someone in their truest form. When it's good, when it's not good, etc. I can see it. I know it. Yeah. And because I know it, which is what love is what you know. I know how to love you because you have shown me how, because you are presenting yourself. You are presenting you. That's another point. Vulnerability does not mean the good in you. Right. It's the ugly too. It's it's holistic. So when I identify, you know what, I don't like how I did that. And then he like, babe, I was praying for you because I was seeing that you was, you was kind of, you was a little funky in your attitude. And so now y'all talking about it. And so now we've lifted this wall, right? Because we took off the pretend and we're going deeper in intimacy, because now I'm able to discuss my wound with you. Yeah. Now we're building trust. Yeah. Then after we've gotten down there and we talked it through, now we apologize and we went all the way. Then we finna have sex because this was real good, right? So you see how you take off the layers, you build that intimacy, you gain that trust, you forgive, you grow in love, and then you seal all of that. Yeah. But it not one thing happens without the other. Yeah. Yeah.
I had shared on another episode before that I can say personally for myself, sometimes some of the best sex is right after a real good, deep, intimate, vulnerable, emotional conversation. Oh yes. Where truth is told, where understanding is met, where we see each other, where we have deeper understanding. So even the way you have sex is different. It's different because you're getting a part of me I wasn't before we had sex. I've given up something to walk into this encounter naked again. Yep. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good right there.
Y'all. All right, I'm shutting up again.
So from a faith perspective, why do you feel that God calls us to be vulnerable with our spouse?
So let's talk about shame. That's the opposite of vulnerability. In the New Testament, what we see, we talked about this prior. In the New Testament, what we see is the lack of vulnerability brought shame. So Adam and Eve could have very well been vulnerable enough to say, I got it wrong. They didn't. Yeah. They attempt to cover themselves, something they could not do. They had to then be covered by God. As a result, they failed. Same process with marriage, right? So God wants us to be vulnerable because that's honesty. That's how we deepen relationship with one another. Yeah. If I'm hiding from you, I don't get the benefit of relationship with you because I'm not bringing my whole self to you. If Adam and Eve would have brought their whole selves, the wrong part, right? Because the wrong part, what different could have happened if I was wrong? I'm sorry. I even tried to cover myself and I realized I couldn't. We do that in marriage too. I tried to cover myself with something else, with habits, with addictions, with overworking, with, all these things. If I just come and be honest, then I get a chance to get close to the kind of relationship that God gave Jesus for me. I can get closer to that. Yeah. If I give up everything that says I can't take that in her. Why can't you? If we believe that this is the model that represents God and his church, holding back does what? Keeps you in control.
Yeah.
And the Lord tells us pride comes before falls. Mm-hmm. That's why we see people falling.
Yeah. And it's really a disadvantage for yourself if you don't allow it, because that's the closest representation that we have here to begin to even understand a little bit about God's love for us in a deep, intimate, close, vulnerable relationship with our spouse and what that feels like.
That's good.
So we're cheating ourselves when we don't.
Yeah. And then there's grace, right? Because for a lot of it, again, like I talked about in the beginning, the unconscious, we don't know. Yeah. We don't know that we hide it. We've gotten used to it. Yeah. We formed a hiding and we call it, other stuff. Like we pride ourselves in secrets and all these things. But there's grace for that. Like there's a covering, there's mercy for that. Yeah. And then there's God helping you walk through being able to let go of that shame, because he's right there ready to present himself as a covering, which is what he did with Adam and Eve. He was right there waiting to be their covering. And the sin didn't keep him from covering them. Yeah. It's the same thing from marriage. Your mistakes should not keep you and your spouse from covering each other. They want vulnerability. Yeah. And if you don't see that they can handle it yet, that's on you. Yeah. Are you praying for their capacity? Yeah. Are you praying for them to be healed? Are you praying for them to feel safe? Yeah. Without taking offense to thinking that they just don't trust you. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Yeah. But can you see past their wound to intercede for their freedom so that y'all can continue to create that space? Yeah. What are you willing to do to have what you want?
Yeah. And I want to challenge our couples that are tuning in, that are in our community, near and far, to not only just pray for your spouse, but to pray with your spouse, asking God to deepen your level of vulnerability, to deepen your capacity if you feel like you're at the end of it, to ask him for more grace, to see your spouse past what they're currently reflecting, projecting, all those things, and the same for you. And to begin to experience God's love with that spouse the way he would have for you. To do that, if that means renewing your desire for them, if that means renewing, again, your level of capacity, if that means him giving you another, what these call the breath of wind, another wind, another breath, because I know sometimes we get tired, because as Shyla was alluding to, there's things sometimes that it take a minute. Yeah. It take a minute to work through. It takes a minute for that person, because there's some changes that just don't happen overnight, of a couple of days, of a couple of weeks, and they're working to unlearn some of those things, to get rid of and delivered from some of those things. And the same for us. So I think it makes it just that more powerful if you guys are coming up with a prayer that's specifically towards your level of vulnerability and capacity, as Shyla was sharing. So did you have anything?
Can we do a part 2?
Sure.
Can we do that like right after this?
Sure.
Okay. I just wanted to ask, because I see our time is dwindling. But I ain't gonna even do no closeout. Y'all, will see you in part 2. Get off my land and I'll see you in 2 seconds.
Okay, y'all.
See you in part 2.